Wack was about to sign me, his manager.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was like, I'm gonna sign Bonnie, and Wack was like, I don't even sign girls, but I'll sign you. And
Wow.
prior to me getting signed, Blue's like, so you want to sign with Wack or me? And I was
Okay.
like, I thought maybe just stick with Blue.
Right.
I felt like I should have went with Wack, but
Yeah.
I also was like in my head, like maybe just stick with Blue because he discovered me, and
Yeah, loyalty,
he's
honey.
the one who said he was signing me, and I thought it was like a loyalty test.
Yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
they're testing me.
Yeah, they're like,
You
let
know?
me make the right statement right here, right
Yeah,
answer. Yeah, I
so,
totally understand about that. So that's pretty interesting. So Wack wanted to sign you. Bonnie, like, I got to know this. Were there any contracts involved? Were there any paperwork signed? You were
we
signed.
signed NDAs. We didn't sign contracts.
Okay,
we
so
got chains, and
right.
I don't.
What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl, Jessica Westside, and welcome to another episode of Jessica Westside Stories. I am here live today in studio with a very special guest, rapper, entrepreneur, and my very own cousin, Bonnie Lashay. How you doing, Bonnie?
Hi, how are you?
Cousin, I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you.
We have you here in studio today. I am so excited. This has been a long time coming. Everyone knows that I've been talking about this on my podcast. You know that. And it is time for the world to be reintroduced to you. Okay, you are popping. You are on the Blueface Bad Girls Club, right? You're a musician. You're a mom. You're everything, right?
Yeah,
and
all
so,
the above.
All the above.
Entrepreneur, bad girl vibes.
Yes, exactly. And we had an interesting day today, right? We just came back from shooting your music video. And what was the name of the video?
PYMP, Pretty Young and Paid. Okay, I'm adding extra. It's PYMP, Pretty Young and Paid.
And it went amazing. Like it was so good. God was all over that.
You see the shirts.
And by the way, you're going to do a giveaway for those shirts, right?
Yes, I have actually, I'm starting a brand too. So whoever actually is like vibing with me, they're getting free shirts and free shorts. I say PYMP, Pretty Young and Paid.
Okay.
So, and they'll be on the markets.
Yes, I'm just so excited to hear. So I just want to start off by saying, you guys, this is my real cousin. This is my first cousin. Our mothers are first cousins that grew up together in San Diego, California.
Shout out to Shelly.
Shout out to Chantel. And so this was just wonderful. And I want to just tell you guys that God has been working in our lives. I've started my very own podcast, and I know my cousin is a reality star and she does music, and God totally brought us together, right?
Yeah.
And made our journeys kind of collide. Would you say?
I kind of like what happened from like when you hit me up and called me, and I haven't talked to my cousin in like some time. So for me to be stuck in a place like mentally, to have like such a vibe and just bringing us together and just family, because it kind of we'll get deeper into it, but yeah, it's kind of like we reconnected. I had an idea to do a podcast, do my own show, because I do an AI podcast with Coach D with 702. You know that, and it's about artificial intelligence. But I'm starting my own podcast, which is this one, and I'm talking about celebrity gossip, all the cool stuff. And literally, you came to my mind. So I want to go back. Okay, let's do that. Let's start off a little bit, you guys. So we're gonna go back. So let's just go back to 2022. We're gonna start with that. Okay, I want to start with that. It's the pandemic. Let's paint the picture for everybody. Everything is closed down. We're all in quarantine. We're all on OnlyFans. We're all on TikTok doing everything, thinking we're cool, right? I mean, we get it. And so during this time, it was really interesting because Blueface, the rapper, had started a Blueface Girls Club, which is a playoff Bad Girls Club, you know, from Oxygen, the Natalie Nunn show. Yeah. And so he casted a bunch of...
I suggest everybody listen up. Okay, this is her cousin who has a podcast now. She's also helping blow Bonnie up in the algorithm on social media, making her relevant and trying to knock Chrisean Rock out the box.
Girls, and I'm literally watching his trailer, and I see a fast clip of just girls fighting and him introducing the show. I'm like, I know that ain't Bonnie. I know that ain't my cousin on the show, right? So I called Jabril, which is her brother, my other cousin, and I'm like, Jabril, is that Bonnie? Is she on Blueface's club, right? And he's like, yes, cousin, like she's on Blueface. And I was so elated and proud of you. Like, I could not believe it. I was like, you go, girl. So all the family's tuned in now, right? Yeah. We are watching. We're excited for you. And the show was pretty cool because we're following your journey and we're seeing all this stuff happen. And Blueface literally is announcing the show. We're watching the journey and all this stuff. We see you. And then we're noticing that you guys are doing different events, right? So the premise of the show, let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, let's start with where you met Blueface. Let's kind of go there, and then we're going to dive into your background a little bit, okay? Is that okay?
Yeah. So pretty much I do music, and I also was modeling during the pandemic. I started doing music. I'm an artist.
Right.
And I kind of was like in the industry of like trying to be a music video, like a video vixen.
Right.
So I got a casting call to be in Blueface's video. Okay. So I met him at his
and it was a choice. It was either between Wack 100, I'm gonna tell you this, or Blueface. You ain't gonna believe what happened.
It was definitely like on me, like putting me in the spotlight so I can be like in the front of the camera, you know.
Totally.
Like,
yeah, he's a smart man. I will say, Blueface, you're very smart with marketing and how you do things, right?
Yeah.
So let's go in about that a little bit. So you actually had your friend who auditioned with you, right?
Yes.
And she was on the show as well,
yes.
right? So you guys both get casted. We kind of go from there, and then what happens?
So pretty much like we both get, well, do you want to know how we had to cast? So we did the auditions, basically send a video to Blueface, just telling our name, our age, and why we should be on the show. By the way, my mom had to help the girl, you know, with her audition. And that just goes to show like, we're not friends now, but no bad beef with nobody. I don't really even care about you no more. But to long story short, we both ended up getting on the show and, yeah.
You both end up getting on the show. Was she excited to be on the show too? Sorry. Was she excited to be on the show?
Yeah, she was definitely excited. Mm-hmm. I felt like she was definitely trying a little much just to force her personality versus just being who she was. Like,
so what was your goal?
I don't think Blue wanted her at first. I felt like it was like,
talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think Blue was into I want my friend, you know, she's, you know, so
anyway. I totally understand it. It is like that sometimes, you know what I mean? But at least she got in, it worked out in her favor, right? Yeah. So you having the support in the house, was it a good thing or a bad thing? Because you have your friend coming in. Most girls didn't. How did that work out for you?
The support in the house, I had to support myself.
Girl.
You know, bringing a friend in, you would think we'd like gang up or team up or I'll have her back, she has my back. But I felt like I was ready to be there to fight just in case, because you know it's a bad girls club, it's a fighting show. So she had wigs on and long nails and I just didn't feel like she was gonna have my back. And she might have not been a fighter, which is fine.
Yeah.
But also like turned like left, she just didn't have my back. It's almost like she went against me for the cameras.
Totally.
For clout. But go ahead, baby, get your 2 seconds of little fame. Actually, she wasn't even one of the main girls that were broadcasted after. Nobody, not like that.
But replacement.
Yeah, like nobody talked about her anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not even trying to be funny.
Yeah, I mean that happens in reality show. You have breakout stars, which you and Chrisean were obviously breakout stars, right? So I totally understand that. So let's go. Let's get back into the first day in the house. You guys get in the house. You guys meet every girls, and you guys just excited to be there?
So, breakout star, her and Chrisean. If that was the case, why did you have to, you know, insert yourself in 2024 back into the scene? If you was a breakout star, you wouldn't have to come back on the set. You should have been already there with Chrisean. Get in the bag.
Oh, I'm excited. We get on the party bus. I'm turned up. Like I'm drinking. We have my drinks. We dancing. It's a vibe.
It's gonna pop off in the studio. And like we said, everyone watched you and Chrisean shine in the studio. I mean, the man is smart. He saw the potential.
Right.
So he finds you and Chrisean right away. And girl, like I said,
I think once we went to the studio, I feel like that's when the light bulb like popped up in his head. I don't feel like he had the girls to like, I don't think his first intention was I'm signing girls when they get here. Let me look. That's how I feel. I feel like it came as an idea later down the line. Like, okay, how can these 2 girls are popping? I want to keep them around. How can I keep them around? Their music.
Wow.
You feel me?
So explain that moment, Bonnie, please. Like for the people who've never.
These 2 girls are popping, but the only one became a millionaire. She's successful. She's in retirement. Now I'm clowning, which is Chrisean Rock. It's Chrisean Rock, not Bonnie. Bonnie is trying to eat right now. She left around the pandemic. It has been confirmed in this interview already. She shouldn't have, because she would have been probably even further along than Chrisean if she says she has more brains or marbles than Chrisean Rock. She probably would have went further if she would have stayed placed, but she did. Now she's thirsty.
Even got there or have dreams of young women who want to be, you know, famous or want to be in the entertainment industry. So I want you to kind of go into how that moment felt about literally being signed and having the world see that. Like I said before, not a lot of people have that moment, Bonnie. That was very special.
So for me, like I started doing music during the pandemic. I grew up doing like church choirs and stuff, like just singing and, you know, solos. But I never, like, I always wanted to be a star since I was little, you know, 4, 5, 6. I always wanted to be big. I just didn't know in what way. And I wanted to be on TV. I wanted to be doing music and I wanted that. But the way that my life was set up, unfortunately for me, I didn't feel like I had that opportunity to make it far or to make it past 18 or to make it anywhere, you know? So for me being what, 22 maybe
Yeah.
at that time, and I had just started doing music, and I kind of felt like it was different. I felt calm though.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like a high off of it, like, ooh, I'm about to blow up.
Okay.
I took it for what it was off the words.
Okay.
I'm more of an action type person. So if I don't feel like, if I haven't seen the action yet behind it, I almost don't think it's real.
Okay.
That's kind of, and I don't know, like, that's kind of just how I am. Like, I gotta see what you're talking about first.
Oh, 100%. I think with the way we grew up in our family and stuff that we went through, we have to kind of have that guard up in every situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that totally makes sense. So I do want to bring it forward kind of to the No Jumper interview for Adam 22 had some of the Blue Girls Club on his show. And so
the interview was me and Chrisean.
Yeah, you and Chrisean first. I did see that, and you guys were talking about everything. So what was kind of Blueface telling you and Chrisean during this moment? I know we had spoke kind of before this, and you mentioned that he said, okay, you guys, I sign you. I want you guys kind of be like sisters. You know, you guys have to have each other's back.
Yeah.
Kind of explain his goal and his vision for you and Chrisean.
You know what? I kind of felt like he wanted us to be very close, like sister vibes, but I feel like Chrisean wasn't acceptive of that. So it gave like she wanted to, but then there'll be days where she's not. And so as far as the interview, I show up to the interview and I'm like, okay, Chrisean's like, we have an interview tomorrow, no jumper, this and that. Cool. We get there, the interview's only like about Chrisean. Like he's asking her questions. I'm chiming in though. Like
Blueface was looking for. He just said herself they were both in the studio. They probably both got on that mic. And maybe at that time, Blueface thought that Chrisean Rock went harder. And that was a turn on to him. You know, right quite yet, he was going to make her a star. If he felt that way for Bonnie, she would have came along. This is why she's doing these interviews with her cousin. And also she did a few on No Jumper because she's trying to get her name out there. The last few years after she left, around the time the pandemic hit, she left on her own. She did not get kicked out by Blueface. She
I'm taking your shine, but baby girl, I would never have to do that because I'm a shine regardless. Cute and literally
girl gets in fight with Sharp. So the fact that it was marketing like that, and for a chance to shine light on women and bring them up, I thought it was very chauvinistic.
And she came back and she was surprised of his mannerism. He just cleaned himself up and said that that's my past life. I can't be on these interviews talking to these women like I talked to the street workers, you know, when I was doing that. And that's why when she came back, which was the end of 2023, I think it was in December, or I think the first week of January 2024, she had the interview. I can go check to see what day it was that they did the No Jumper interview, where this was her really her grand premiere for the first time. Even though she's been on No Jumper before, she had the spotlight to shine on her own without Chrisean stealing the spotlight from her.
Kind of did like a little bit of like, who's this guy beforehand, like right before, and I saw like he's already. I was like, okay, well, he's not finna come out here and make me look funny or try to put me down and disrespect me or my name. So
girl, period.
You
moving like a clown for real. If you say if you moving like a clown,
I said if you said you're moving like a clown, I'm gonna tell you. What did I say?
You said you moving like a clown for real. If you moving like a clown, I'm gonna tell you moving like a clown.
That's it. And it was that's it for me. That's it.
Girl, that needs to be on a t-shirt. We got the Pretty Girls t-shirt, and we need you moving like a clown for real.
I'm gonna tell you.
That's it. I don't think he was quite ready for you.
Yeah.
I had seen other interviews of him with girls, but when you have met somebody who has been through just as much as you have and maybe more,
they would really
nothing
relate
you
to.
say phases you, right? So it was really, he was getting more upset, you could tell, and trying to put you down a little more because girl, you were just not phased. And it was pretty funny. You could see like, you know, his blood boiling. But just for you,
it was almost, he had to start to flirt with me to be like, okay, I can actually respect you.
Yeah.
He almost had to respect me at the end because he thought I was going to be like, oh, like I'm talking about what I'm doing and what's my life and my dreams and goals and my story. So you wasn't ready for me to talk my story. You wanted to hear about or this and that. Like, I'm not that type of girl. You know, so I can't relate to this and that. Like, I'm not that type of girl. You know, so I can't relate to the girls that do that. Like, I'm just very like wholesome with my son. Like,
100%.
You know, I do my music and that's
so what do they say? Association with simulation. The people that you associated yourself with, which was Blueface, and he knows how he gets down as a man, and the type of groupie chicks that he attracts himself to, and he's been on No Jumper a dozen of times. That's why he came at you like that.
Like,
I'm still a little confused what the point of that whole thing was.
I don't know. Honestly, I just think it was for the cameras.
Yeah,
like,
it was for those 1.9 million views, girl.
Yeah, so I get that. So if it's gonna be 1.9 million, they could see it. Everybody respected me after.
100%.
They messaged me. They were following me. They said like how Sharp did this.
Blah,
blah,
we went
blah,
through the
blah.
comments. Every comment. Me and the producers went through the comments.
But at the end of it all, he had to respect me so much. He said, "Let's do it again. Let's all come back and do another interview."
And I would love that for you. And would you love that too?
Honestly,
yeah. To go back
I would go back, but he.
Yeah, it's gonna be different, girl.
Yeah, he knows what he's dealing with.
It's gonna be really cute. And so, piggybacking off that a little bit. So that's the thing. You didn't get a chance to tell your story with Sharp and to tell your moment.
Instead, he put me down about my story instead of listening and like respecting it, because I'm sure everybody in that room has been through some things.
Totally.
He wanted to,
So I want you now to kind of just, we'll come back to the Blueface and thing, but kind of give us a little snippet of your life, where you come from. This is our family. You guys remember, this is my first cousin. So we are talking about our family specifically, but we're going to be open and transparent. So I definitely want you to just start kind of, where you were young and how you grew up, and, anything you do want to share with us and tell the world. And they really got to know your story, girl. So,
I grew up foster care, and I was little, and I just remember I was getting at my son's age. My son is 4. I was like, they think, oh, be upset with your mom, but I actually just want to enjoy her while she's here, 100%. Because you get one mom. Wow. And I know, like, some of the stuff is, she had a hard life. So I'm kind of sympathetic in that way. I do wish I grew up with my.
Okay, so we know that she's mulatto. Her mother's black. Her mother's clearly black. We just seen a picture of her. So I don't know what the father is. The father could be Spanish or white. I don't know. But she's definitely mixed. But her mother is definitely African American.
My mom, my siblings, we were all separated. So like nobody got to be raised with our parents. We, we don't know our dad.
Like Grandma Belle raised Jabrell. And you guys were split up and all that stuff like that. And how many kids does your mom have total?
I think it's 9 of us.
9 of us.
And out of all of us, it's me, Shamira, Sheree, Sharice, Jabrell. And we have Venus, Carl. I don't know everyone. That's another thing. So it's like, it just sucks. I have siblings that are like out in this world.
Well, she has something in common with Chrisean Rock. They both have a lot of siblings, because allegedly they're saying that there's 11 of Chrisean's sisters and brothers. She had 9. Her mother was busy, just like Chrisean's mother was busy. Well, I think Chrisean's mother was a little bit more busier than Bonnie's mother, but they was busy back in them days, honey.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a brother named Chrisean.
Really? Yeah. Oh God, what a coincidence, right?
So, and like, it does hurt. I don't think we've ever got to sit down as a family and do therapy 100%. to get better. It was almost like, I do feel like I said on the No Jumper, I'm chosen. I feel like from what I've been through, where I have my head at and my mindset, I'm not a normal statistic type person. I'm not going to jail. I've never been to jail. Okay. I'm not, but for me, that's just not what I want. And I feel like I'm doing okay for myself. Like, I'm happy that I have a son. I'm taking care of him. Amen. He's never going to go through what I've been through. You know what I mean? Amen, yes. He's doing acting and boxing and school. Like, he's doing his thing. And he's
pretty special, you guys.
I want him to blow up. I want him to make it he's so cute. So much. And I feel like now is my time. Yeah. This is about to make me cry. Now is my time, because I feel like if somebody's gonna do it for the family, it's gotta be us.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
It's gotta be what, like, for the family. And that's why I feel like I'm chosen, because 100%. I just feel like I'm gonna make it. I've always felt that. I felt like I'm gonna do more, whether I don't know what make it means, at what extent, like, I just know I'm going to make it. I don't know what that like means. Maybe be successful. I don't know if God has other plans for me. But
I think when people are chosen and they know they have divine purpose, right? You are very divine. You're chosen from God, right? Yeah. And the devil's also very aware of your divine purpose too, right? He knows you're chosen, and he will work 10 times harder to break you down, put obstacles in your way, right? But they're tricks. You got to remember, that's where the spiritual warfare comes in, right? So you've been tested, girl. You have a testimony. That's why this was so important for us to do this and to get it out, because people need to understand the depth of you, girl, where you come from.
easy.
I know, and you have the kindest heart, the sweetest soul.
You
You're
would think
so
I would
funny,
be down.
girl.
You think I would have been like gave up on the world,
Yeah.
like and I've been through some be here today. I really shouldn't, but for some reason I am, and like I don't know. I just know that this Blueface situation, me being on the show, I'm grateful for the show.
Totally.
I'm grateful to be around Chrisean and all the other whoever the cast were. And
Paradigm. It's all
or their traffic.
yes.
Let's not even make it that deep, but our pop your tire, and you're sitting out here on the freeway, but you think it's so bad, but God has like did that for you to save you from something else.
Oh, amen. I'm glad that you have that perspective, because that's how you have to look at things. Either the glass is half empty or it's half full. We are so blessed in this life, you know, and we also get distracted and we go through things, but life is so good, right? And as long as you are breathing, you have a chance, right?
Yeah,
to keep going. So,
because you can be at your lowest. The only way to go is up.
Is up, right?
Like literally just go for it. Keep moving.
And I love that for you. And I'm just so proud of you. And that's what I said. I wanted the world to see the glow, the talent. I mean, my cousin is beautiful. And not only that, your music is popping, girl. It's just so good. So I do want to kind of go back to that, as I spoke before. So let me kind of go back a little bit, okay? I'm going to just piggyback a little bit. So I wanted to bring up, so as we are watching the clips of the Blueface Club show, we meet Chrisean, right? We meet you.
We're there in the flesh when this happened to Chrisean's tooth. So it was Jaidyn and Chrisean Rock. The altercation happened, and that's when Chrisean's tooth came up missing. Okay, so we can move forward now.
I didn't see everything. I saw Jaidyn, Alexis. There were some other girls, probably like 3 or 4. I don't know, because I'm on the top of the stairs. I'm peeking. Like I didn't know if Blueface had plant this. Like, oh, there's other girls coming in. I thought it was a plot.
Adding more cast or something. Oh, that's fun.
We over here. Everybody's all acting all scared, barricade. Like, okay, so we on the balcony and we just looking. We just see everybody fighting. Blues like the security is trying to keep the girls to get them out. And I just saw Chrisean dip. Like, I don't know. Like, she said she hit her tooth on the horse, the little statue he had. And I do think she did, because I don't feel like none of those girls hit her. Or
I mean, we know now watching Chrisean, she can throw hands.
Yeah,
she's not really
I don't think none of them, but it was multiple girls, so it's like the gent me. So I definitely do think she hit her tooth.
Now that definitely also makes sense. I can't see Jaidyn, Alexis. I'm not trying to say, they said she got hands too now. Don't judge a book by its color or skin color. But I do believe that she probably, scurrying off, went into something because she panicked. She was in an anxiety state and wasn't watching where she was running to, and bumped into something, and tooth came out.
Because I saw her like push and dip, and I was
you
like,
gotta know when to fight, you gotta know to run. You gotta be smart about it, right?
Yeah.
So I want to mention. So we see Jaidyn and Alexis come to the house, right? She's fighting with Chrisean. The tooth comes out, right? So I want to say this. There was a clip of Blueface taking Chrisean to the dentist or something like that, right? And he's in the car with her, and he's talking about, oh, you're gonna be okay. We're gonna get that tooth fixed. Da da da. Girl, when I saw this video, it was like so it was so apparent, because we're women. We know body language, right? We know when a man, how he looks at us, when he loves you, girl. We know that. And the way she was looking up, doting at him, and the way he was like talking about her tooth, I was just like, is anyone else seeing this? Like, do you guys see this? So it was no surprise that the baby mama was popping up into, because if everyone was seeing what we
Of course she was doing the do with Blueface, and he was doing the do with Barney too. So right. Barney's in there like she's the peanut gallery. Girl, you was getting it too.
Actually, the baby mom popped up because she's seen a video of them hugging.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. There was all these little moments that we kept seeing of them, and the connection, the energy was so apparent.
It was.
And I can't even imagine her watching that, because I know when he came to her like, I'm about to start a Blueface Girl Club, I would have been like, here we go, And to have that kind of come into fruition, her worst dreams of him falling in love with one of the castmates, is pretty rough, right?
Yeah.
So after that, so that happens, and then I think he wasn't really trying to admit, like I said, that he was dealing with anybody in the house, right?
Right.
So I think everyone
wanted to keep it kind of low key. That's why
he liked Barney first, and the reason why they got smoked low key is because when they were in the Bad Girls Club on the Blueface set, she was trying so hard, and then she won the attention of Blueface. No, you can hear her talking now in this interview. Chrisean was who he had eyes on, okay? he probably started having wandering eyes, and Bonnie then was another prospect for him to get, down with. You feel what I'm saying?
To like get played in
Yeah.
that type of situation, especially when the world is watching. It's just it gave like, oh, Bonnie scary, Bonnie this, Bonnie that, but it wasn't that. I'm just a different language, but I'm a different type of female. I'm just bougie and pretty, and I like, no matter the struggle and the ghetto-ness I came from, I want better for myself. Like, there's nothing wrong with me wanting to wear heels, nails, and pretty and makeup and bougie. I want that life.
100%.
I want that life. So that I carry myself like I live that life.
Yeah.
So
talk about that a little bit if that's okay.
Yeah.
But I do want to piggyback, kind of going back to what I was talking about. So after that, I told you we see Blueface and Chrisean getting a little close, and then we see this epic fight where Wack 100 is kicking her out of the mansion. Right? Everyone's seen this. She breaks into the house, turning the wall, and all this. His car goes to Oklahoma, and then gets in trouble with possession of drugs. Right?
Right.
And so after that, I think the world was like, "Oh God, this is over. Her tooth's gone. She's in Oklahoma on drug charges. She has his car." It was just wild, right? And Wack 100 was so disrespectful to her. It was just like he wasn't feeling it, right?
Well, Wack John.
Okay.
And that's just from my perspective of what I've seen.
Yeah, totally.
It's
totally.
2-3 years later.
Yeah.
Cool. But from the time he first Chrisean, we were all late one night, she hit his manager, and he was like, oh, I'm trying to get her like out the show and out the house forever. But he's like, the more harder he tries, like Blue even harder.
Yeah.
So, and Blue is his artist, you know. So what can
Yeah, what can he do really? But I mean, you
now
can
he's out and he
now
knows
they got a baby and
Yeah.
So it was totally interesting. But that's what I mean. So after that happened, she goes to jail, obviously in Oklahoma, right? And I think it's over, girl, right? She gets out of jail. She goes on the Skin Bone show. He's the YouTuber and podcaster from Chicago, and she says Blue bailed her out. Get it? And then that they're together and they're in love. And this was kind of the beginning when he started accepting her, promoting her. You get it?
Yeah.
And the world was kind of shocked, girl, because like she had one tooth, so that was a shocker, number one. And then number two, we all knew he was with the baby mama. Number three, he had been swearing he wasn't messing with any of you guys. So now that we're knowing all this, it's crazy. So then boom, they get a deal with Zeus. Chrisean does Baddies. They get their own show, Crazy in Love. Where is Bonnie? Where is the third person that got signed? Do you get it? We are all wondering. They go this way, you're this way. Like I said, there's a third side of the story. So I want everyone to know what exactly happened to where you had to handle your business, where you had to leave.
From the day up to where I left.
Yep.
So basically the day I left, me and Blue had a conversation prior about him gonna put my music out. He's like, well, you had 100. Well, I actually had 100K Instagram followers. They're going away because I haven't dropped music. Yeah. Whatever. Cool. We'll gain them back. But he was like, you're at 100K. Let's, get your music out. And I've been asking him, I'm like, okay, well, let's do it. Like, I don't want to just talk about it. Like, let's actually up, And by this time, Chrisean already has like 2 videos, and he's like, oh, well, she's doing one on her own. And actually, you got her beat because you have a couple of videos out, but I have not one song with you. So we're in the studio, we're recording, trying to make a new song. Then he's like, oh, I'm gonna be a feature on one of your songs that you already have, two of them that I had. And it just I don't know. It just never made sense. Like, like I think he wanted to wait to see what I had to offer.
Okay.
As far as who I am, like I wasn't bringing enough personality, maybe because I mean I can't compete with Chrisean's.
What, like his play toy? Because that's all you probably had to offer. Anyone that even signs up to do no baddies club or no bad girls club where they're fighting and acting like cats and dogs, why would you have something to offer to him?
Wildness. Like I'm not trying to compete with her or go against I'm trying to be like I want it to be where it's like we're doing it together. So it didn't feel like that. It just felt like every time there's a camera she's jumping in front. He's just not it was no organization. Wack was about to sign me, his manager.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so he was like I'm gonna sign Bonnie, and Wack was like I don't even sign girls, but I'll sign you. And prior to me getting signed, Blue's like, so you want to sign with Wack or me? And I was like, I thought maybe just stick with Blue. I felt like I should have went with Wack, but I also was like in my head, like maybe just stick with Blue because he discovered me and
loyalty,
he's the one who said he was signing me, and I thought it was like a loyalty test.
Yeah,
I'm like, they're testing me.
Yeah, they're like, let me make the right statement right here, answer. So I totally understand about that. So that's pretty interesting. So Wack wanted to sign you, Bonnie. Like I gotta know this. Were there any contracts involved? Were there any paperwork signed? We
signed NDAs. We didn't sign contracts.
Okay,
we got chains, and I don't know if the contracts were coming later, but I didn't stay long enough.
This is where I'm saying to you, Wack 100 and Blueface played her. Number one, if Whack 100. I'm quite sure they was on the same wavelength, on the same page. An NCA, an N. Come on,